Alrighty, here we are. Thank you guys for tuning in to another one of my episodes. That's the Tea. I am Betty Mo, and you guys already know me, your friendly neighborhood witch, La Brujita. So today, you guys, it's the episode that I've been wanting to record for you, and this is like in the making for a while, but we could never connect. But I finally found the guy, the perfect guy for the job. I don't have my little, I have like these little sounds that do like the clapping and all that. But anyway, so let me introduce you. So this is my new friend. You guys, his name is Andy. And I found him on Instagram, by the way. Hold on, I wrote down your Instagram. So right now, actually, you changed it, huh? The Instagram?
I know. Yeah.
So I have it because I went back in there and I was like, wait a minute, he changed it up because it's going crazy right now. So his Instagram is NY_UAPUFO_discussion_ 2.0. But I think it was shorter than that, right?
I'm just doing this for now because Instagram has been messing with my page, so
Yeah,
it's temporary.
so we're gonna discuss that too. But anyways, thank you for accepting my invitation to my little show. Wait, I'm gonna turn red.
No problem.
So let me tell you guys how I found Andy. So most of you, like friends and family, my close friends and family, you guys, and some people from my clientele of tarot, you guys know about my alien fascination, fascination, or whatever you want to call it. So basically, I have literally, since a little girl, have been seeing these beings, and I can't. It's kind of like my story with the clown. If you guys saw my episode on That's the Tea with ghost stories, when I will see the ghost and all this ghost activity and paranormal stuff happens, it's similar like that with me in my life. When I was a little girl, I saw unidentified flying something, right? I saw the shooting light or whatever. My father has seen it, my uncles have seen it, we've seen it in groups, I've seen them throughout my childhood. And then as I got older, I started to see, which I thought it was in my dreams. Again, could be a ghost story for people, but for me it was like, am I dreaming? Did I dream that? But I literally saw a gray alien. And I can tell you the texture of the skin. I can tell you the way the eyes looked. I can tell you the way they moved, the way that they communicate with you through just looking at you. It's like, I don't know how to explain it. I don't know. You guys are probably going to say I'm crazy, but I've seen these. I thought it was a dream. Maybe it wasn't a dream. I don't know. It's happened twice in my life where I've seen an alien. I saw an alien. So anyway, so I grew up and I'm just like, why can I never find people that understand me and like, has this happened to somebody else? Whatever. Anyways, here I am at my age, and I'm going through like the alien talks on the internet, and I'm just connecting here, click here, and I came upon his page. So then I said, I'm following, because he has so much information, you guys. If you please follow him. I'll give you guys I'm actually going to put it in the info. We're going to put it in there. But you have so much information that is literally checked. You research, you know people, and like all of that is super fascinating to me, because it's like you're not just putting it out there like I saw the alien, like me. You know what I'm saying? Like you're literally researching these things. You're literally you be talking to people with the mask. You know what I'm saying? The underground. So it's just crazy to me that you have the information that you have, and I connected with your page and with the things that you explain, and I'm just like, finally somebody that understands why I feel crazy sometimes when I talk about my alien experiences or my whatever I saw. What did I see? So that's how I got connected with you. But oh my gosh, and then when I met you on your live, and I'm just like, girl fan, right? Yeah, it's the guy from the aliens, and he's talking to me. But the whole thing was like, wow, that was such an amazing conversation to where I'm like, I gotta get him on the show. I just gotta get you on the show. So here you are. Yay! Yay! He made it. He made it. So tell us about you and how did you start this? How did you get this page going? And give us the spew. Give us the tea.
I mean, I don't know how long my page is gonna last on Instagram with what they've been doing to me, but it's
I
been.
know the Karens.
I know it's really bad. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, like they have their algorithm and stuff, but what's been happening to me goes beyond Instagram. I actually had a Linktree account that's not related to Instagram at all. It's a separate
Yeah.
website.
Yeah.
And before you started following me, I used to have my Linktree link available in my bio, and I put everything that I have on this topic. I put it in there for anybody to see and to take.
Yeah.
And once I got my hands on the Department of Homeland Security videos and I released them, that's when everything started happening. And it got to the point where I couldn't even mention my Linktree anymore on Instagram. It was coming up as malicious. They wouldn't let me mention it. They took it out. Yeah, they removed it from my link thing. And then a little while later, I tried to go back into my Linktree one day to update some stuff, and it wasn't there anymore. Like literally, Linktree removed my entire thing. And again, it has nothing to do. They're not affiliated. There's two different sites. Instagram is Instagram. Linktree is Linktree, and everything. It doesn't exist. It doesn't show up on Google. Nothing. They completely removed it from the website. Yeah. So with that, with them doing that, and then seeing the little things that they've been doing here and there with my page, I realized that it's not just some algorithm thing. That they must have me flagged or something like that, or watching or paying attention to what I do, and now they're starting to and it really started just this month that passed, that any little thing I post, even if it's just like an innocent comment, it's coming up as spam, or it's coming up as a warning or whatever, and then I'm banned for like 2 or 3 days. So it's crazy. But
oh my gosh, the government really listens. The internet really listens.
No. You don't understand. A lot of shit happened after I got those. I released those videos. I had 2 people come to my house looking for me that no one's ever met them before. 1 female, 1 male. One of them, they were able to see the vehicle. It was a black SUV, I believe it was. That's what my mother told me.
What?
And yeah, just so you know, Betty, real quick, your picture went out on my end, so I'm not sure if it's capturing on your end.
Oh, yeah, I don't know what happened. We'll figure it out with the editing.
Yeah, so that happened, and then I had some other. Oh, I had one incident in my room once where I was with my little brother. He was playing a game, and I was looking through something on my phone, and I was editing a video to post. But there was no sound. I wasn't hearing anything. It was just, me cutting and pasting and stuff like that. And all of a sudden I heard something, and I'm like, what the hell is that sound? So I kind of just ignored it. A few minutes passed, I heard it again. I was like, what the hell is that? So I looked to my little brother. I'm like, did you hear that? He's like, no. And I'm like, I heard something, like something breathing. So I tell him, stay quiet. We made no sound or whatever. My phone was on regular, like the home screen. I didn't have any apps open. There was nothing playing. And out of nowhere, out of my phone speaker, was this sound, literally just like this. It goes, like you hear someone take a deep breath and exhale. And I was actually, me and my little brother started freaking out because I checked my phone and I open it up and I'm looking through my, open pages. I closed everything down. There was nothing there. Nothing was open. Nothing was emitting any sound. And then I told him to pull his phone out and record just in case. And we managed to get it on record, on video. and we showed the phone and everything, and you can clearly hear it. We put the speaker up to the phone, and you hear someone take a breath, like if they're breathing through the phone.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, holy shit! I could not believe that
Whoa.
that actually was happening, because you can't. It's not like, back in the day when um, wireless phones were out, where you could cross, lines and hear someone else's conversation. You can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can, of course, illegal ways, but normally when you pick up the phone, they did away with that. So you can't cross conversation, you can't cross lines like that. So
Yeah.
whatever I was hearing, I have no idea where the fuck it was coming from. It was not I can hear that it was not, you know, a sound that I make when I breathe or anything like that. It sounded like
Yeah.
you can hear it was a tone from someone else's mouth, which was,
Ooh.
yeah, that was very, very creepy.
That's
But
really weird.
yeah,
That is
no,
so weird. It almost makes me feel like, what's the what's the tactic here? Are we trying to scare him to stop, or like,
I
what is it?
mean,
It's a scare tactic, or it's like, is it a phantom? Is
it's
spiritual?
monitoring.
Like, what the fuck is it?
If anything, I mean, the only thing I could say is, I mean, if it's possible that somebody was just monitoring my phone. Honestly,
Yeah, definitely.
There's nothing else I can come up with, because I've never had an experience like that ever with a cell phone.
Oh my gosh, that's so weird.
Yeah.
Question: Are you still not able to see my video here, or did I come
No,
back on?
no, it's still black. Try
Okay,
clicking your video on and off again. See what happens.
let me see. It says camera on.
Yeah, it's still black.
That is so weird. So you're literally talking about your phone being like someone's listening, and then we're recording. I hope. Are you on your phone or are you on a computer?
No, I'm on my phone.
Hello.
And now you go black. I know, right? That's funny.
Hello. What if it's the black SUV people? Oh my gosh. I'm not involved, you guys. Do not trace me, please. I like aliens. That's it. I just like aliens. Now you got me all worried. Like, what the hell?
Nah, ain't nothing will
That's
happen.
too
Nothing will happen.
funny. So, you know what happened? I was recording with another friend. He has another podcast. I think it's called the 365 or 368 podcast. And he's in Texas, right? So we're doing the whole video thing. And he said, I wanna hear all of your brujeria, right? And so we're talking about the tarot, and like we're talking about the spirits that I've came in contact with, and blah blah blah. And the whole video goes pitch black, his and my end, and then it gets distorted. We had to stop recording and then re-record an ending, and you had to cut paste the whole damn thing. Isn't that weird? So this is giving me flashbacks. Okay, but at least with your end, we know if it's not our friends, the Greys, it's gonna be the, our enemies, the government.
Not our friends.
Not my friend. Not. Please don't listen to my podcast and shut it down. Please. I'm just gonna plead with them. Please just let me have my podcast. I just started it. But anyhow, hopefully, I don't know. Even if we don't get it back, oh well, it is what it is. Maybe you can. When I edit it, I'll figure it all out. But I'm sorry, you guys, if you don't see my beautiful face. We'll figure it out. But anyway, so tell
It might
me.
pick it up on your end.
Yeah, I mean, as long as we have the audio, that's really truly what counts, even on the YouTube. But so yeah, tell me about why is it that you started the page? Like, how did all this come up for you?
I've had experiences since I was about 8 years old,
Yeah,
and started in Puerto Rico when I was younger.
yeah,
Uh, I was outside playing I was outside playing in the front yard of, I think it was a friend of ours or some family member up in the mountains by where my grandmother lives in Atalaya, and It's the earliest. It's the earliest memory that I have that never left my mind for many many years. But it wasn't until probably about a year or two ago that I started thinking about it, and I always said to myself, why do I have this one memory from my childhood sticking into my brain
Yeah.
this way? Like
Yeah.
there was nothing else I would remember from that time period except for
Yeah.
this, and it constantly would replay in my head every now and then, and I'm like, damn, what the heck was that? At first, I kind of brushed it off that it was a plane, but the fact that it kept replaying in my mind every so often, and I said to myself, all right, there's got to be something more to that. Why is it that one single memory from that time period keeps replaying?
Yeah.
So then I started thinking about it one day, and I said, wait a minute. Puerto Rico has only two airports. One is in Aguadilla, and the other is in San Juan. So air traffic comes from specific locations, specific, directions.
Yeah.
And where my grandmother lives is not one of those areas where there's a lot of air traffic. And then another thing that hit me after I really started thinking about it was every time this memory came into my head, the plane that I thought, I kind of dismissed it as a plane, saying, "Oh, maybe I just saw a plane."
Yeah.
I remember the plane. The object was very, very, very low, like to the
Mm.
ground, like right, like
Yeah.
I would say, like if you're standing outside, maybe 30, 40 feet above you.
Yeah.
And I remember that to look at the entire thing, I kind of looked up, and I just remember there being this black object over my head. And I kind of looked to the left and to the right to look at the whole thing. And what
Yeah.
I remember is there being a red light at each point, and there was 2 or 3 points, something like that. I believe it was almost a triangle shape.
Uh-huh.
And then what I remember was that this object that I thought was a plane kind of flew off in front of me into the distant, like mountain range, and then disappeared. And it wasn't until I started really, really thinking about it, and I said to myself, that wasn't a plane. I just keep telling myself it was a plane, but when I started really like breaking it down, I said to myself, it couldn't have been a plane, because how could a plane be that low and hovering over your head?
Yeah.
You know what I
Did it
mean?
even
And
have
then
sound?
no, that was another thing.
Woo!
Like
Yeah.
it's one of those memories that always replay, but I never really put any mind to it like that. I
Yeah.
just dismissed it. But
Yeah.
after, here I am 40 years old, and I still get flashbacks from that moment.
That
And
day,
I
yeah,
said,
that
it
moment, yeah.
can't be, yeah, like it can't be something as simple as an explanation as a plane. It's just no
Yeah.
way. And then that's when it started really coming back to me. And I said to myself, holy shit, was that my first memory of something that I could not explain, and it was like right above my head? So then around in that, I moved from Long Island to New York, to the Bronx, and then from the Bronx to Long Island.
Yeah.
And then around 1993, I was out here in Long Island, my mother's house. Me and my cousin were in our pool. And, I always had a fascination with UFOs and unsolved mysteries, and anything
Yeah.
UFO was like, for some reason I gravitate towards it. I don't know what it
Mm-hmm.
was. It was just it fascinated me,
Yeah.
and I was always looking up at the stars every single night I could go out. I would literally put a blanket out in the front and just lay down and stare in the sky. And this is before satellites were really all over the place. So whenever you saw
Yeah.
something, it was odd. So then this day I'm in my backyard with my cousin, and we were in the pool, and it was a clear, sunny, summer day, and there was no clouds, not a single cloud in the sky. It was completely blue skies. So as we're playing, it was about, I would say, mid afternoon, like 1 or 2, I think, and I was about 13 or 14, around there at the time. So as I'm playing, like I get this like urge, or this like something made me look up.
Yeah.
So when I look up at the direction towards my house, to the left, to the right of us, and something caught my eye,
Mhm.
in the sky. So I kind of did a double take. I look up, I look down, and I was like, wait a minute, what the? So I look up again, and right over my house, I would have to say no more than maybe 150 feet away. Not maybe a little more further away, but it was
Yeah.
very, very, very close. And it was sitting. A saucer was literally sitting right over the house, and it wasn't. There was no lights on it. It was the actual. I always say it's the actual craft. Like if you were to open your front door of your house and look down the block at the neighbor's car, that clear. And it's just sitting there, motionless,
Wow.
right over the house. It was like it was metallic. Like I describe it. I use the example that it resembles like the DeLorean from Back to the
Oh
Future. That
yeah.
that
Mhm. Yeah.
color, the texture and stuff, whatever.
Yeah.
Um, and I looked to my left, and my cousin was looking at it too. So that's when I realized I wasn't going crazy. So I said,
Wow.
okay. I saw him looking up. I said, all right, this is really there. So we just literally captivated. I'm just sitting there staring at this thing, and then all of a sudden it starts moving to the left of us. But I always tell people the weirdest thing was the movement of how it began to
Yeah.
move. And you're
Ooh.
talking like something stuck in the sky, and then all of a sudden it just starts moving. And the best way that I could explain it is, air hockey, when you have the air hockey puck just floating from,
Yeah.
and if you take your finger and you just kind of tap it, the puck moves,
Yeah.
glides along.
Yeah.
That's that's exactly how it moved. Like,
Wow.
yeah, like an air hockey puck,
Just
and it almost
whoa.
looked like somebody just
Yeah.
kind of tapped it and it just started to move.
Wow.
Yeah. So if it moved towards the left, to the left of us, going east, and at one point as it was moving, it caught the reflection of the sun. So you've got, the sun's reflection shone back at us. That was another piece of information that, you know, um, told you something really was there, because now you just saw the sun reflecting off of it.
Yeah.
And then I didn't see any windows. I think because of our perspective, all I was able to see was the bottom and a little bit of the curve towards the top. That's about it. I couldn't see anything else above it. And it kind of just floated along. It didn't speed up. It just kept maintained the same speed until it flew over the tree line and we weren't able to see it anymore. And
Wow.
I just started freaking out. Like I was like, "Oh my God, did I just see what I think I saw?" And
Yeah.
it was real. Like it wasn't a
Yep.
plane. I mean, a plane is very
Yeah.
distinct shape, you know.
Mhm.
And here I am sitting there saying to myself, "Holy shit! I just saw a legitimate, you know, flying out. Like I didn't know what it was,
The
but
real unidentified flying object, the real deal.
yeah,
It's
the
so
real,
crazy.
real deal. Like not seeing a little
That's
light
like
in the
a
sky. What
what is
happened?
it that they say? I don't mean to interrupt you, but I'm trying to remember how is it that they say it when you have the first contacts, the second and the third and the fourth and the fifth? Would that be considered the first contact when you're seeing it?
Close encounters of the first kind, close encounters of the second, and close encounters of the third. So close
Yeah.
encounters of the, I think that would be considered
Could
close
it could be a
encounters of
second.
the second kind, I think.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. If it wasn't because what would be considered the first? What?
I think it's like a sighting, like if you have some kind of, you see like an object moving
The
across the
light.
sky. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And then,
think close encounters of the second is actually physically seeing the object.
yeah. Yeah, like actually seeing it or getting close to contact. And
Yeah.
then would be the third contact would be abduction or touching or
Yeah,
like
physical
physical contact,
physical.
right?
Yeah, physical contact.
Um, that's so interesting. Um, I didn't see my experience. I didn't see you had an amazing experience because that was like legit at the age that you were too, you were older. You were not a little boy anymore when you saw that second one. So for me, everything was when I was younger, and also my father, he saw. Actually, he had a second encounter of the second kind, but for him it was when he was like, I think, 8 years old, when he was face to face with the saucer in Mexico. He was in Jalisco somewhere. But he was a little boy, and in the cerros, with my grandpa, he was working out there. He was taking him el lonche, and he came across a creek that was flowing, and he, for whatever reason, looked to the side, and he saw this saucer, and he says, I can never forget it. It was like, he tells us the story all the time, and I've heard the story from my father over and over and over since I was a little girl.
That's when so you know it's really real. Interested.
Yes, absolutely. And then I grew up. When I was little, and I myself saw things that I can't explain, like a light that shot in the weirdest Z formation way. Like, it's not an orb, it's not, a camera thing or a light thing. It was like an actual light that came down, and then it shot up, and it just went zigzaggy. And so I saw a lot of that until when I was older. I think I was 13, I want to say, in that age, 12, 13, when I had what I thought was a dream. I don't know if it was a dream. I cannot prove that I was dreaming, but I always tell people I was dreaming and I saw, or maybe it was a daydream. I don't know what it was, but I literally heard like this on my roof, like they were running. And I come out of the house. Yeah, and I come out of the house and I look over to the roof because I'm like, what the hell is on my roof, right? And I see these long fingers peering over the roof, and I see a gray. And it looks right at me with these almond-shaped, dark, pitch black eyes, large, and a small kind of rectangle face, and it's just looking at me with like a little tiny mouth. And I start to freak out. And I'm just like, what am I looking at? And then I wake up. But like, is that really a dream, or did I really go through that? Like, I can't even. And I tell everybody all the time, like, did I really see this alien? Because we heard pitter patters on the roof all the time at my dad's when I lived with them growing up. Every year we would hear it at least 2 times a year. And then my dad would be so mad. Los pinches vecinos, ahí van otra vez a subirse al pinche techo. And he would come out with like a hatchet and trying to chase them. And there's nothing. Just darkness. No one on the roof, no kids in the street, no sounds. It was nobody. So we could never understand why we always heard footsteps on our roof. And then I started either having the dreams or really having encounters when I'm seeing these grays. Like, what the fuck did I see that for? Even if I would have said it was a ghost and I wanted to dream a ghost on my roof, that's not a ghost. That's a straight gray alien. That's what I saw. That's not a ghost. So I don't think it was my subconscious being scared of like the pitter patters on my roof, but that's what I grew up with. And then here I am, and I'm 42 years old. And I moved into this house 3 years ago. And ever since I moved in, it's the same thing. And I have proof because I have called the police on 3 different occasions of hearing on my roof. And I have a freaking trailer. We don't have a normal roof. We have tin on the top. So why am I hearing on my roof? And I call the police. They come out, they send patrols. There's no footprints on the floor. There's no coyotes. There's no animals. Why am I hearing footsteps on my fucking roof? Just like when I was a kid with my father and my mother. I think I'm connecting the dots, and I think that they follow. I'm going to be honest. I really do believe that for me in my life, I've been chosen. I probably have been abducted and I just don't remember. But I think I'm marked. I think me and my family were marked. Because we hear this shit, we experience this shit, and I can't explain it. And this is why when I tell people, it's like, hey, you're fucking crazy. You're so crazy, Betty. You're crazy. Well, then what is this then? Because I lived it. and I have witnesses, and I can't
I've,
explain
re-
it.
I've learned after going through what I've gone through and researching what I research and seeing that it's, knowing that it's real.
Yeah,
We're not the crazy ones. The crazy ones are the people that deny this existence.
I agree with that, actually. I agree with that. But I think now at the age that I am, I'm just wiser, I'm older, and I've learned to not give too much attention to the ones that are asleep. I feel like I'm more awoken today with my spirituality, and my mind is just open to, you know what, the world is probably not flat, it's super rounded, and it has like dimensions all over the place to go to another rounded place. So now I'm like, everywhere, I'm open, I'm completely open. So I believe when I was on your page and I was looking through your videos and reading all the information you have, I really do believe that you have true facts on your page. I do believe that your opinions is correct, and I agree with you on pretty much everything. And I think that's why I got so attracted to your page too, because I haven't been able to find somebody that I can fully say that's someone spitting truth right there. That's facts. Because I've either lived it, or I've already heard of it, or I've already researched it myself, because I got a little alien crazy for a while.
Well, I
So,
mean, but I wasn't gonna do this. It's somebody that pushed me to do it when I had my personal account, and
yeah.
because I was getting kind of frustrated with people posting garbage, and then an old friend of mine, he's not on Instagram anymore, but he was like, "Oh, you should start your own page." I was like, "You know what? Screw it. Let me do it."
Yeah.
And I don't do it. I've never done it for follows or anything like that. I don't
Yeah.
give a shit about that. Like I really don't.
Yeah.
I've blocked so many people. It's not even funny. I think I've got over 2,000 blocked.
Wow.
Yeah, anybody come, because you know
Yeah.
what? I don't get paid for this. I don't freaking make a business out of it or anything like that. I literally do it because I know what I saw. I know that it's real. I'm not
Yeah.
crazy. I do not have psychological issues. I do not have anything wrong
Yeah.
with my mind or my brain, anything like that at all.
Yeah.
And what I saw, what I experienced was 1,000% real.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just an experience from when I was younger and that one. It continued throughout my
Yeah.
life. Actually, the most significant one occurred to me just last year. And that one, with what occurred to me on that night, completely 1,000% confirmed to me that something or whatever is up there is paying attention to at least my life. Because
Yeah.
I was, and I can't, and the crazy thing is, I actually caught it on video.
Ooh.
Um, yeah, but this one was pretty. I would say it was more significant than the first experience that I told you about in '93, only
Yeah.
because I actually got a legitimate response.
Whoa.
Yeah, like I can't. If it wasn't for me capturing it on video, I would have just sounded like another crazy person with a wild story. I actually was able to get it on video,
You have
and
proof? Yeah.
yeah, and I was walking, I was jogging in the middle of the night, down my block, and I was on the phone with one of the directors from A&E because they were interested in the videos that I had gotten. And then after I hung up with him, I called a friend of mine up and I was telling him about the phone call. Then after I hung up with him, I was on my way back to my house. It was a few blocks away. And I always, like I told you, I always look up at the night sky. Always. I'm
Yeah.
always looking. Doesn't matter. Even if I don't see anything, I always look up and I always speak to whoever's up there, whoever's listening. I
Yeah.
say, thank you. Thank you for the show, is what I say, right?
Yeah.
So this night I'm walking and I look up again. There's a crisp, I mean, it's beautiful night. There's a lot of stars out. And it went exactly like this, word for word. I mean, I am not making any of this up. This is exactly what happened. Um, so I'm walking and I'm looking up and I said it out loud. And I said, I haven't seen anything as significant as I did. that one time with the saucer over my house. And I said, I would love to see something as significant as that again.
Uh-huh.
That's exact. That's exactly how I said it out loud. I was
Yeah.
literally just talking to the sky.
Yeah.
So as I'm walking home, I get to the end of my block, and I'm at the corner of the block, and something caught my eye, the corner of my eye to my left, and I thought it was a
Mm-hmm.
shooting star. I was like, oh shit, a shooting star. So I turned real quick to go look at it, but I just caught it when it disappeared, and I was like, shit. So I'm excited just looking up after that, and then all of a sudden couple of seconds pass, and I see it again. I was like, what the
Okay.
fuck? Like in my head, I
Yeah.
was like, I actually had a moment where I was like, did I just see what I think I saw? Like,
Yeah.
what the heck? It was in the same spot. And I was like, okay, maybe it was another one. But I'm very into, astronomy and all this stuff. And I know how rare it
Yeah.
is for a meteorite or a comet or whatever to pass in the same spot.
Yep.
So I was like, what the? And then I'm thinking, I wear glasses. So I was thinking it was a car reflection. So I actually look around and I didn't see any cars. So I look back up and all of a sudden I see it again. And I was like, oh my God.
Wow.
Instantly grabbed my phone, hit record, and just pointed it up. I wasn't looking through my camera. I was just pointing the camera up and looking with my eyes
Uh-huh.
because I wanted to
Yeah.
see what was happening. So I was like, holy shit, that's 3 times
Wow.
in the same spot. It was a bright white light that would appear and kind of shoot in a downward motion and curve in a sense, like it almost
Yeah.
like it was very odd, very, very,
Yeah.
very, very odd. And this thing repeated itself 6 times in the same location.
Wow.
And I could not believe my eyes. I sat there and I was like, oh my God.
Wow.
Like, what are the odds that I
Yeah.
opened my mouth and asked to see something as significant as the first one that I saw, only to have that happen to me no more than 5 minutes after asking?
Yeah.
And it didn't end there. Like after 6 times, I didn't, it didn't come back, whatever. So I get to my driveway and I'm freaking out. I was like, holy shit. Like, I
Yeah.
can't believe this is happening. So I go on Instagram Live and I'm telling people I'm freaking out. I was like, you won't believe what I just saw, blah, blah, blah. And as I'm talking, I'm looking up and I see something flash again above me. And I'm like, holy crap, I see it again. But the camera wouldn't catch it because, the Instagram Live wouldn't catch it.
Oh yeah.
So long story short, I got off live and I'm walking back home after, a few minutes standing outside again. And my landlord comes to me and my landlord was in the backyard, and I go to him, and I'm like, his name is Colin. I was like, Colin, you're not gonna believe what I just saw. So he's always making fun of me because he doesn't believe in this shit.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, what'd you see? What are your aliens? I was like, no. I was like, yeah. I was like, I don't give a shit. You make fun of me. I was like, so as I'm explaining to him what I
Yeah.
saw and pointing up, and I'm showing him in the sky, right above us, a
Uh-huh.
light appears. A ball. It looked. I mean, from our perspective, it looked like an orb. A
Yeah.
bright orb appeared high in the sky and shot off to the east in a zigzag pattern, like that, in very, very, very high rate of speed, and a good distance too. And
Yeah.
he clearly saw it. And I turned to him and I was, did you see that? He's like, yeah. I was like, I fucking told you. I was like, I don't want everyone to hear you talk shit about me and UFOs. You just saw one. And he was
Yeah.
like, and then he sat there. He was like, I can't explain what I just saw. I was like, I told you. And
Yeah.
as we're sitting there, and he's, freaking out, this object reappeared multiple times in different spots, and this
Wow.
lasted from the moment I had saw my first sighting at the beginning, the first moment at the end of the block. It lasted an hour,
Yeah.
like back and forth an hour. Like I couldn't
Wow.
believe it. And now he doesn't make fun of me anymore.
He's a freaking believer now. Like it
Yeah, oh, yeah, oh,
happened
yeah.
to you now. How do you
But
even
that,
deny that?
but that to me, at least to me, and honestly, at this point in my life, I realized that it's like what you said, but I don't say that I'm marked. I believe that there are certain people who are watched, or who are
Yeah.
not. I don't want to say watched, but who are monitored. And for what
Yeah.
reason, I have no clue.
Yep.
But I believe specific individuals on this planet are monitored, or are
Mm-hmm.
chosen to be monitored. Maybe there's something about certain individuals that catches their attention more than others, and they choose
Yeah.
to you know watch, or follow their life to see what they do or what happens, or I don't know. But I for many 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 years before this even happened, even before I had the incident here in '93, I always felt like, and I've told this to other people before. Like I have a excuse me, I have an acquaintance, I guess you could say, like a pen pal, who's
Yeah.
ex CIA, and we've had conversations. I've had conversations with other individuals that have had experiences, and this is a common trait amongst most people I've spoken to that have had this, or I've had experiences like mine. Is
Yeah.
it? I've always felt like I've had more of a connection to whatever's up there than anything down here. Like
Oh yeah.
I've never felt like I never felt like I belonged here, because I could
Yeah.
never. I don't feel like I'm part of people. Like I feel like
Yeah.
I'm so different with the way I think, with the way I talk, my the way I articulate my arguments and my thoughts, that it's like, what the fuck am I doing on this planet? Like everyone
Mm-hmm.
else around me is literally, like, the only way I could describe it is like sheep. Like, they
Yeah.
say, "Oh, you're a sheep." No, no, that's
Yeah.
for real.
But it's
Like,
real. Yep.
yeah, it literally feels like I'm surrounded by sheep, people who just freaking follow what commercials and media
Yeah.
and
Oh
the
my
news
God.
tells
Yes.
them. And I'm
Yep.
like, yo, what the fuck? Like, are you guys not see? Do you not see what it is that they do, or why they do what they do? Or like,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they're
Yep.
completely, literally brainwashed for
Yep.
real. And
Yep.
then they start making you feel like you're the crazy one. And this is why I tell you that at 40 years old, I realized I'm not crazy at all. I'm saner than most people I've ever met.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And it sucks though, because when you have this mentality and you try to exist in a world that does not think like you, it's
Yeah.
not easy. And it affects, especially when you've had an experience like that that's like opened up your mind in a different way.
Yeah.
It's not easy to, you find yourself not wanting to be around people, because you're like, you
Yeah.
just like, kind of like, you hear their conversations, and you see the things that they stress and worry about, and you're like, really? Like, this is what you're talking about? That's what the fuck
Yep.
you're worried about? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
are you kidding me? And
Yep.
it's just, if I feel like I don't want to be near them. Like, I'd rather just be on my own. I mean, it's literally affected my life to that point where
Yeah.
even on a, like relationship level, like it affects it actually affects that as well, because I don't look at the relationships the way most people look at relationships. Like, every aspect of my life changed ever since I had this experience and saw what I saw, and I realized that there's something much bigger at play.
Mm-hmm.
And certain individuals get this, or at least they have this ability, or maybe their genetic coding is allowing them to see something that others can't.
Yeah. It's
You
funny
know?
that you literally brought this up right now because my boyfriend is very similar to me. This is why we get along so well because me and him we think alike. We talk pretty much the same. Our mentalities are the same, and he's younger than me. He's like 10 years younger than me, but he's on a level of old soul as me, and he's very wise. So when we talk about the alien stuff, he literally was like, you know what, babe, I really believe that there's people in the world that are just specially made. In other words, he thinks we're like partial DNA with an alien species, and that's why we're being monitored. He believes this. And I said, you know what, though, you're onto something, because I, just like you, never felt normal. Like, why is it that I'm different? Why can I read tarot? Why is it that I can connect with spirit? Why am I so open spiritually? Why is it that I feel people's emotions? Why is it that I see these grays? Why has my family been hearing footsteps on the roof? Why did my father see the spaceship? Why do I see these orbs and these lights? And I feel, this is why I said maybe I'm not abducted or marked, but what if it is like my boyfriend said? What if it is people like you and me, maybe we have a mixed DNA. Maybe we're the product of an alien species.
Well, so just so you know, that is one of the. I mean, well, it's not something new when it comes to ancient astronaut theory.
Yeah.
But you don't even have to call it ancient astronaut theory. If you just do research, your own
Yeah.
research on history, you'll find accounts from our past that talk about that. That talk about the sky gods, or those from the
Oh yeah.
heaven that come down and created us. You
Yeah.
understand?
Yeah.
And believe it or not, I mean, one of the Anunnaki, Sumerians mentioned the Anunnaki that created us. Like, we are a
Yes.
product of them.
Yes.
And what you stated is actually correct. Well, what he was
What
theorizing
he
is actually
his
correct.
idea of it, and then but I agree with it because I actually
No,
have been feeling it.
but it's correct. Like,
You
I
see, I
was
don't even do the studies on it like you. This is all me, like, just feeling it, just knowing it. And how the fuck do I know all this? I'm not an IQ of 126. I almost didn't even finish high school. How the fuck do I feel this and know this? You know what I'm saying? I'm not the smartest, rock
I mean, I've
out
had
there.
I mean, it's hard to explain. It could just
Yeah.
be something that you know it, but you don't know. And it's
Yeah. Oh,
I,
you know what's another one we talked about? Because him and I used to be RBTs. We used to work with autistic children. He's been doing it for 18 years. I did it for about 10 years, and on and off with ABA therapy. But anyways, we have both came to the conclusion that our autistic children are probably another mix of aliens because they're beyond intelligent. They are probably a more direct or a more fuller species of more alien than human, even though they have a human face and body. They're intelligent, and how do you explain that? It's beyond intelligence.
it's not that they're a different race or anything like that. It's so how can I explain it? All right, let's say let's just say you grab 10 people, right? And you take all those 10 people, those individuals, and put them in a piano class,
Mm-hmm.
right? Out
Yeah.
of those 10 people, you're going to have one that's better than the others.
Yeah.
You're going to have some that are not going to pick it up at all. And you're going to
Yeah.
have one that's a genius at it, but might be lacking other social skills or other things, and that don't let him fit into society or whatever.
Yeah.
Those differences, what I'm trying to get at, has to do with the level of, I guess you could say, the amount of that DNA in you that is accessible, or that is, I guess, the percentage is higher than others. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
So
Yes.
yeah, I'm trying to explain it in a way that's easy to comprehend or
Yeah.
understand. But
Yeah.
basically, someone who has someone who has more access to that side of the DNA may be able to do things that may seem incredible to us, but it's actually something that we could normally do. We
Yeah.
just don't have access to it. We don't have access to we don't have complete access to it. So
Yeah.
individuals like, for example, like you know what a savant is?
No, I've never heard of that.
So savants are very, very, very rare, and they have extraordinary abilities. Um, some can, like a savant can be musical or mathematician or anything like that, where they just have these abilities
Okay.
where they weren't taught it; they just were born with it.
Okay,
And
like a natural
yeah,
ability
they
of
have
theirs,
this
like
natural, yeah, or
exceptional.
or an access to their mind that no one else can access. Like for example, the movie Rain Man. I forget the name of the actual character was of the actual individual the character was based off of, but
Yeah.
the movie Rain Man was about this individual who had an incredible memory, who was, I mean, extraordinarily gifted. He's read thousands
Yeah.
of books and can recite every single one of them word for word, and he remembers it like it's, I mean, just
Wow.
like the book is in his mind.
Yeah.
Well, there's others like that. There's an individual named Daniel Tammet who I found him while looking through YouTube videos and stuff. And there's a documentary called "The World's Most Beautiful the World's Most Beautiful Mind,"
Yeah.
and it's a documentary about him and his abilities and the things that he's able to do that are
Is that the one they
absolutely.
made the movie of? Beautiful Mind? No.
No, no,
Because
no.
wasn't that the movie was similar to that where he was like extra intelligent and it's like crazy crazy smart.
Well, this guy was, I mean, an incredible mathematician and could do math problems in his head without a calculator, like that
It
blew
sort of
scientists
sounds like
away
it.
when they were, researching and investing, and like studying him.
Yeah.
And not only that, but he had the same type of memory like the individual from Rain Man. He could,
Yeah.
like, I mean, it's just, you have to watch the documentary. The dude is
Yeah.
incredible, incredible. He learned Icelandic, I think it was in a week, to prove,
Holy.
like in an experiment, he was kind of closed off from everybody. I don't even think he was able to watch videos. I think it was all through books.
Wow.
And to put him to the test, they had put him in a live uh, talk. I believe it was a talk show in Iceland,
Yeah.
and he came out after having no contact with anybody. He was only in there, I believe it was, with his books,
Yeah.
and he began speaking to them in Icelandic right in national television live.
Wow.
And everyone was just shocked because he was able to.
Wow. Yeah.
And apparently, Icelandic is one of the most difficult languages to learn because of the way the
Wow.
words are pronounced. Not everybody
Yeah.
can speak it,
That's
and
amazing.
he was able to. So, like, individuals like that, or people who could do things that just like, what the hell? It could be that they have a little more access to that DNA, their DNA,
Yeah.
than others. You
Than others.
understand?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and the interesting thing about that is that I've heard um, that our DNA was capped. Like we
Mm.
were deliberately held back from
Yeah.
our progression
Yeah. We're actually
because
grander than we are, but we're being cut off, or we were cut off. I agree with
we're
that actually.
yeah we're and that's largely due because of the fact that we're I guess the beings that they I guess the beings that existed here before the genetic modification um, were wild.
Yeah.
So we still have a very primitive and violent nature.
Yes.
So
I was
to
just
allow
talking
us,
about this.
yeah, so to basically, so then just imagine us the way we are now
Oh yeah.
towards one another with the ability to do crazy things and
Yeah.
amazing, forget it. We'd be like the Zorg. What is it? The Zerg in Star Trek?
Oh yeah. It's
Like
so funny that you you're bringing this up because I was just talking about this with my
the
kids.
Borg. It's called the Borg. I'm sorry, Borg. The
The
Borg.
Borg. Okay. And I literally told my kids because my oldest son is like wanting to enlist with the military, and he's very into the military. Like he's up to date, and he's like, "Mom, did you hear that Israel? They declared war today. Blah blah blah." And I was like, "Yeah, but I don't want to get into that because I don't like the politics, whatever, right?" And then I go, do you guys know how disgusting us humans are? And he's like, what do you mean, Mom? And I was like, bro, like, humans are literal animals. Like, we are the most violent species. The human race, the human species is so violent. We're so ugly. This is why we have these wars, cartels chopping off skin and like suffering, and we're violent beings. And I was literally telling my kids this morning, so it's funny that you brought it up, but it's true. I believe that.
Apparently, well, I mean, if you want to, this is, you know, you can take it with a grain of salt, but I've heard this said from different sources that I've studied throughout this time, so I believe it because it's, you know, the one thing I always do is I try to piece things together. I like listening to different accounts from separate stories and separate incidents or whatever, because if you when you see a pattern, you realize there's something going on, or there's some truth to it. You understand?
Yeah.
And one of those patterns that I caught were that they always mentioned, well, in a lot of instances, it's been mentioned that we are considered the most violent race in the universe.
I believe that.
Like we're the most, not, and I'm not saying violent. Like there are races out there that have a little, they are aggressive, but not towards each other.
Yeah.
We're the only race apparently that's that aggressive.
Yeah.
That we kill each other, we eat each other, we hurt each other, we don't care about each other.
Mm-hmm. It's very animalistic.
Yeah, towards ourselves, we are the only race.
Yeah, I believe that. And see, and I don't even do research on this, but I hear things here and there, and I'm just like, I literally can believe that because I see it. Why do we?
You don't have to be a scientist. It's common.
Yes.
I mean, I don't even. You know what? I don't even consider it common sense anymore. I don't.
Like, what's even common?
No, I don't say common sense because common sense is not common at all. Like rare sense, I'm going to start calling it.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Because you don't have to be a scientist to see this. You can pick up on it when you look at the world around you.
Yep.
But some people.
Yep. It's like literally look at us. Why? Why do we need to have these wars? They're senseless. They're pointless. They're what? For territory? For product? For material? Like, what is this killing for? What did he kill him for? Why is that guy serial killing? Like, what? Like, why do we do this? This is the reason why I went into college studying sociology, because I literally want to study why the fuck do people do what they do? Why do we do this?
But
like, why?
When you like studying sociology, right? You're only gonna scratch the surface of it simply because.
Oh yeah. Because even education is a joke.
Well, not just that, but when you're educating, when you're limiting education based off of your beliefs and how reality works, you're not really going to get far.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when you're trying to understand the human mind without taking into consideration the fact that we might not be entirely human, then you're not going to really get to where you want to get to when understanding how we think and how we work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I mean, that's just my opinion. You could get far, yeah, but this is why with certain people therapy really doesn't work, or hypnosis doesn't work, or things like that, because you have individuals like me. I tried therapy and I said to myself, like, this is horseshit. I know exactly what I went through about 5 or 6 therapists recently because I had some incidents that occurred in my life that really pushed my what's it called? My mental limits.
Your capacity, mental capacity.
Yeah, my mental capacity.
Yeah.
My psychological capacity was pushed.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And I tried therapy for a while, but as I'm sitting there, I said, you know what? Let me try. Let me not be one of these individuals that says, I don't need it. Let me attempt it.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
But the thing is that I went through about 5 of them because I sat there and I'm listening to them and I'm not an idiot. Like I actually took an IQ test a while ago. I forget when it was. and I was actually kind of shocked at the score I got. I actually had like about 127,
Wow.
and yeah, it was about 127 to 130. I took two different ones, and I got two different results. But I believe one was 127, the other one was 130 or something like
Yeah.
that. And so I'm sitting here and I'm listening to them, and I hear them, what they're doing, with the questions they're asking, and I remember the first guy I spoke to. I'm like, buddy, you got your work cut out for you. I said, because I know exactly what you're trying to do. I was like, and it ain't working. He's like,
Yeah.
well, why do you feel this way, this and that? Or I said, look, I know, I said, the reason why this isn't working is because I understand what it is that you're trying to do. And when you understand what it is you're trying to do, it's like, you can't fool. So basically, therapy, therapy is for individuals who can be easily manipulated mentally into believing what it is that you're telling them so it can ease their mind. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's literally a manipulation tactic to
Yeah.
get you to believe in something else and think in something else to get you from thinking what you're thinking that brings you down.
Yes.
But when you can figure that out, it fucking sucks because you're still like depressed because you understand what they're doing. It's like, it ain't working, buddy.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I
shit.
did about 10 years of therapy since my downfall. I had like a mental breakdown back in the day in 2016. And so it forced me into therapy for my depression and my panic attack, anxiety disorder, PTSD, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, I went to see all these therapists and I'm thinking, what am I really learning besides what I already know of myself? But I'm not here for that. Like, I don't want anybody to just hear me talk. I could do that with my friends.
Mhm.
I'll go have a glass of wine and literally talk to my friends and I feel better. So it's like I didn't really learn much. The only one that I could actually say of the counselors, all of them that I had, she taught me CBT therapy. She literally taught me how to breathe through my stomach and release through my nose and like calm myself before I act and think and do. And so her techniques actually did help me with my life a lot. But it was CBT therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, and I don't know if anybody really does it or whatnot, but it worked for me. But the talk and the other doctors, they just want to push pills down your throat. No, thank you. I'm good. I'm gonna have a
No,
glass of wine and go to bed.
I know. And, I mean, my depression was coming from something. It wasn't because of what I've experienced, but it was more
Something
personal
else.
and
It's the
but
inner child of the inner child. You need to calm and conquer. So, um, my therapy or not my tarot, I literally took a class with another group of other witches and psychics and whatever. Anyways, we did a class with another cool lady. She was our master teacher. It was tarot therapy. So I have a certified 6 week course in tarot therapy. We became therapists through tarot.
okay.
So literally, I already knew how to read tarot because it came natural. I just had to learn techniques with the tarot. But anyways, I throw out the tarot cards out there, and whatever I read from it, whatever comes up, like this one came up, okay, cool. That means, whatever it means. So if it means, life is falling apart, things are out of place, something is about to go down, so something new can start for you, blah, blah, blah. From all that, I gather your information and we input it, whatever, and then I have a therapy session with you that's called unconventional therapy. Unconventional therapy. So then we would literally give you therapy. Like, okay, you're going through this. How is it making you feel? Okay, let's change that. Let's change your mind state. Let's get your vibe up. And it was really cool to learn how to have an unconventional therapist for half the price of a clinical therapist. And I don't have to have a PhD to tell you that you're going to be okay, because you're going to go through a downfall, but it's going to go back up. It's not a forever. And so there's where all my clientele comes. I have, I think, 3,000 followers on my TikTok, still growing, and almost 3,000, I think, on my Instagram for my tarot. And I have clients from everywhere: India, Kenya, everywhere in the United States, literally Alaska, everywhere. And they hit me up. I need therapy. And I read tarot for them, and I do tarot therapy like this, like Skyping or whatever, video chats. And then the best ones are in person, because then I can actually pray over you and give you healing and trying to align your chakras and all that. So that's what I do. But it's the same. It's therapy. It's just, and I'm not trying to convince people of anything. I don't go in there like, you need to. I always tell them, give it to the Lord, give it to the one that you give praise and prayer to, because tarot is literally paper. It'll rip and it doesn't mean shit. So it's going to be up to you what you really believe and how you want to make your life. And if you want to not make changes, then you're going to stay in the same place. And if you make the changes and actually give it a shot to make the changes for you to feel happier, then do what you got to do. I'm just here to read the cards.
Yeah.
And I always send them back to God, like literally pray about it. Just pray about it. I think that's the best therapy you can ever have, is Dios. I'm a huge Christian, so it's like, give it to God, pray. If you need to open the Bible, but just give faith to God that things are going to be good and you'll be all right. I've been through the worst, so here I am.
Yeah, it's interesting you bring up, kind of like religion and all that.
Yeah.
Because I actually met a guy in Puerto Rico when we were down there doing the documentary we were filming.
Yeah.
And I can't go too much into what we were talking about, but interesting thing is we know of 2 or 3 different individuals in Puerto Rico from back in the 80s and 90s that had incidents that all of them mentioned the name of an individual that presented themselves to them, and they all mentioned the same names, the individual or the extraterrestrial.
Oh,
His
wow.
the name was Amaron, Amaron. That's how he identified himself to them. And each one had the same description of the individual. It was human, looked like us, but they said they had almost like an Indian appearance. Not an Indian like, Native American, like the other Indians.
Yeah.
So, and each one described seeing him with 2 grays by him. So long story short, one of the things that one of the people we spoke to mentioned was very interesting. Actually, the whole entire conversation was absolutely incredible. This guy left me with my mouth on the floor.
Wow.
Like, with everything he was saying, I was like, oh my God. Like, I knew that this dude was not lying to me. Like, whatever he was saying was his experience. And, I look at myself when I try to look for myself when people tell a story, because I know how I tell mine. You understand? So when I heard his account, I was absolutely convinced this guy was telling the truth.
Yeah.
So one of the things, though, that he mentioned during his conversation about speaking with this individual was how Jesus was brought up.
Oh, yeah.
But he said that they don't speak about Jesus the way we portray him, the way we, here on this planet, the way we view him.
Yeah.
Okay. So I always believed that I was very big into church too. I was born Catholic, and then I was Christian, heavy duty Christian for many years.
Yeah.
Like holy roller Christian, And once I had that experience here in Long Island, everything just went out of whack. It just didn't make sense to me anymore. So the way I started looking at the Bible was more like an exaggerated account of something true that was misidentified from individuals who just didn't know any better at the time. So Jesus was born through the Virgin Mary, right?
Yeah.
But here we are in 2023, and we have virgins and freaking people that give birth all the time.
Yeah.
And through artificial insemination, right? We do it now. It would be a miracle if we did this back then. They'd think that we were gods, right?
Yeah.
So that means that Jesus, the individual named Jesus, number one, he was real, absolutely, he existed.
Yeah.
Number two, he was artificially inseminated into Mary
Mm-hmm.
with, and more than likely had more of more access to that side of the DNA than we did, for him to
Yeah.
create what we considered miracles.
Miracles. Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah. Yeah.
So once Jesus died or whatever and was taken up to the heavens or with God, that's it. You never hear from him again. We just believe in him and worship him and pray to him or whatever.
Yeah.
So this individual spoke to me about what he told me was that they didn't speak about Jesus like the way we view him. To them, it was just another person, another
Yeah.
individual.
Yeah.
And the way he made it sound, after putting like two and two together, it makes sense, because one other thing that he mentioned too was, he says, when you read the Bible, it's exactly like what I just told you before. When you
Yeah.
read the Bible, do not take it for what it is 100%.
Yeah.
Understand that the base. Look at the Bible for the roots, the roots of the Bible, which is where the truth lies, not the exaggerations that come with it.
Yeah.
And it makes sense because these stories come from some true event. You
Oh
understand?
yeah, definitely.
So when he mentioned Jesus and the fact that this individual is still alive,
Yeah.
and then you start thinking of the Bible and his place in it and his role in the Bible. You start to understand, and especially when you look at the other incidents that they considered miracles, that when you put the UFO phenomenon into it, it makes
Yeah.
more sense than anything. So basically, the stories of the Bible and say that he comes back or whatever, blah blah blah, and Revelation and all this stuff. It's almost like a foretelling of what is really going to happen in the future,
Yeah.
but not in that exact way.
Yeah.
You understand? And when you look at what's going on in the world and what's been happening in the world, there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot so far that has actually come true from these
Mm-hmm.
things that were written about, not just in our religion, but in other religions.
Others, yep.
You understand? Like,
Yep.
there's a lot of things that were, prophesized or whatever, that this is going to happen, blah, blah, blah. And these things have
Yeah.
happened. They're
Yeah.
currently happening now. So I feel like what's going on with everything has been told to us, and we've been warned about it for many,
Yeah.
many thousands of years,
Mm-hmm.
that this is going to happen at one point in your future.
Yep.
Get your shit together, because if you don't, the
Yeah.
outcome may not be what you want it to be.
What you want it to be. Yep.
So
I really do believe that we should be prepping now, because more and more is being shown, and they're showing it to us little by little. Little by little.
yeah, and now, see, this is when all this started happening, when Lou Elizondo first started coming out, and the Tic Tac video was released, and all of a sudden it's like you're at the top of the mountain, and you're at the top of a snow-covered mountain, and you made a little tiny ball, and you just threw it down the side, and it just
Yeah.
started getting bigger and
It's
bigger and bigger.
snowballing, rolling, yep.
So you think about the fact that this is something that the government's been keeping secret. Government and military have kept secret now for almost 100 years. And now all of a sudden, out of nowhere, these admissions are coming out, and you have people coming forward, and you have hearings, and you have this, and you have that, and new information is coming out every fucking day. People are coming
Yep.
forward.
Mm-hmm.
Whistleblowers are out, are coming forward to
Coming
Congress,
at,
and
yeah.
in private and secret.
It's so true.
And you have to ask yourself, okay, why all of a sudden is this happening so fast?
Yeah.
So when you really sit down and you think about it for real, there has to be some underlying motive for something this big that's been kept secret for so long coming out in this way.
Yeah.
And one of the possibilities is that they just can't keep a secret anymore, and something is going to come or happen in our near future that they have no control over.
Mm-hmm.
and little by little, it's like they're trying to get people um, conditioned to to believing
Yeah.
that this, and so when it does happen, it's not an absolute fucking shock to everybody.
Yeah.
You
And
know what I
even
mean?
still then, people are gonna be shocked as fuck. Like, oh my god, did you
But
guys blah blah blah? Like,
but here's the interesting thing, and you're right. You can't convince the world. You understand?
yeah.
You're gonna have people who are going to believe and not understand what needs to be done with this information. You're gonna have
Yeah.
ignorant assholes who are just
Oh
fucking
yeah.
useless and taking up and wasting space on this planet.
Facts.
Like it is what it is, man. Like listen, I know, and this is why I say to myself, listen, if I die today and I'm in front of God tomorrow, I'd rather be honest with the way I am and be real
Yep.
with the way I am than
Amen.
be some what's the word for it? One of these fake ass Christians that goes to church on Sundays and says their Hail Marys. Like,
And they're
you think
complete
God gives?
hypocrites. Yeah.
I mean, honest, yeah, hypocrite, exactly. I mean, let's be real. You think you think that God gives a shit about the fact that you said 10 Hail Marys and two Our Fathers, and now all of a sudden that's going to absolve you of all your fucking sins? Like, that's not how it
Yeah.
works. That is
Yeah.
just absolute horseshit.
Yep.
Like, I believe in a God and I believe in all of these things. In my personal opinion, I don't associate myself with religions of man because man is corrupt. And one of the most corrupt
Yes.
fucking things in this planet has been
Yes.
religion. So why would you follow a religion that's been used to control and to fucking manipulate and gain power, and like, no, that's your religion.
Mm-hmm.
You want to believe in that? That's fine with me.
Yep. Yep.
But mine, I don't want. I would prefer to live my life believing what I believe and
Facts.
understanding that, okay, yes, there's a higher power. Fine, sure, there has to be. None of
Absolutely.
this came from nowhere. Even if it's not some person. And first of all, it's impossible that it's going to be some guy with a big fucking beard sitting on a throne the size of the universe, sitting. Like, how boring would that be? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's more to that. It's just the problem is so many people are just absolutely like they I don't what's the word, like they don't have the ability to understand or grasp the the um the complexity of all this.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
understand?
I
Like
do. I
it's
100% I understand.
I feel like religion was I feel like religion was a tool created by extraterrestrials to keep man in check.
Yes. Yes. I
Basically,
agree
that's
with
what I
that.
feel
But
like.
then man came in and corrupted that shit too. They put
Exactly.
in their
But
greedy fucking hand and corrupt the fuck out of everything that was supposed to be pure for us, for the fucking good of the human fucking species.
and now
And
this is
here we
why
come with our savage asses and our greedy asses, and we fuck it all up. And now here we are with the fucking Mormons,
but
the
now
man, the businessman in the sky,
and look, well, I mean, come on, like Scientology, are you kidding me? Um
Scientology, the
but
fucking Jehovah's Witness, and their three men in the back that you
yeah,
can't
yeah, I
do
mean,
shit
it's
with your
just,
head.
and I'm not trying to, like, I don't want to make it sound like, like we're talking shit about these people, because it's really, I don't look at it like that. It's just stating the fucking obvious. It's stating the
It's
fact.
the yeah,
You
it's what
understand
it
what I'm
is.
saying?
Plus, I'm like number one witness to the bullshit that they do in the fucking religion. I was a part of all those fuckers, and I can tell you what they did to me, and I didn't
I've
like it.
seen, I saw we had an incident in our church, and I
Yeah,
used to love going to church at this place because you felt at home or whatever. And
yeah,
then one thing happened, and the entire church broke apart.
yeah.
And that was the pastor's son, who was ordained a pastor, was found cheating on his wife with my cousin. And
Oh
my cousin, yeah,
no,
my
the
cousin was married to
scandal.
one. My cousin was married to one of the individuals in
Oh,
the church who used to help out and everything. And yep, and
hi.
his father put him on blast in front of the church, stood him up in the front of the congregation, and made him confess to everything.
Oh my god, the amount of shame.
Oh
Oh.
yeah, believe me. And listen,
Hijo.
once that happened,
It's done.
let's just put it like this. Me and about three of my friends at the time that were really into this, we were so pissed because
Yeah.
it literally just basically it unfortunately it stained it permanently stained our views of religion. And we went to his house one night,
Yeah.
and across the street from him in his neighbor's yard was a fence.
Mm-hmm.
And my friends didn't want to do it, so I was like, "Yo, fuck it, I'll do it." So I wrote real big. We spray painted it on the fence of his neighbor's house.
Mm-hmm.
My I'm not gonna say his name, but so and so is an adulterer, compliments of Satan 666.
Oh. Oh my god, that is like the pettiest of pettiest.
So literally, when he would open up the front door of his house, that is the first thing he saw.
Ay, Dios mío.
Him and his wife.
Wow. I mean,
Yep.
we're not perfect. We're born sinners. We cannot expect no one on this fucking planet to be the best or the
Oh, are
perfect.
you kidding? If we followed exactly what the Bible stated, there's not a single person on this planet is going to heaven.
Oh yeah. That's
Maybe a
so
baby or dogs.
true. But even babies are born sinners. They're literally born out of sin.
Yeah, exactly.
There's
That's what I'm saying.
literal bastard kids out there. Literal.
That's what I'm saying. This is why when you really think about it
Yeah.
logically, it doesn't make any sense.
Absolutely not. And I agree with that. That's crazy.
So that's why I'm sorry, what happened?
Mind blown. Oh my gosh. So we're going to have to wrap it up pretty soon. It's been an hour and 21 minutes, and I know this conversation can go on and never end. There's endless, endless things for me and you both, because I agree with you. I agree 100% with all of it. But I'm gonna wrap it up. It is 1 hour and 22 minutes right now. I don't want to bore the audience. If they get bored, don't leave me. I promise you, it gets good at the end. But I want to tell you, thank you for joining. Super, thank you for joining me on the podcast. That's the tea with myself, Betty. And I want to tell everybody, please follow my friend Andy. Right now his page is being weird, so as soon as I get all the updated information, I'm going to tell you guys where you can find him. And I believe you have TikTok, YouTube,
No TikTok,
Instagram.
just YouTube.
No
YouTube and
TikTok. Okay,
Instagram.
YouTube, Instagram,
That's it.
and that's it. Okay, YouTube and Instagram, you guys. And I'll put down all the information in the info when I upload the video after I do my thing with it. You guys gotta follow. You guys need to read. You guys need to watch all of his videos. Some super interesting shit. If you're a fanatic of the UFO world, the alien species type of things, just follow him. I think he's amazing. And you even will find other people that you can click their links and you end up going down the rabbit hole. And then there's so much, and then you're just overwhelmed with information. But
Just be careful who you follow.
that's true, yeah. But you guys keep an eye out on his page, because he will literally be posting. You post almost every day, huh?
Well, now I'm posting
Recently.
alien cats to try and get my algorithm back.
Oh, that's right. You did post the alien cats. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? The fucking alien cats. But thank you for joining me, for reals. I super appreciate it. Thank you for talking with me about the subject, because I don't feel crazy when I talk to you. You literally get it. You get it. You get it, and I get you.
I've seen enough to know that we're not crazy.
Yeah, for sure. But so when I get off right now, I'm gonna send you a couple things, and I still want you to send me the. I think it was a book that you wanted me to read. The last conversation we had. Was it a book or a movie? I don't remember the conversation exactly, but I remember. Send me the info, because I do want to read on it. We were talking about the intelligent minds and all that.
Yeah, I'll look back to see what exactly what.
Yeah, because we talked for a while that one day. But anyways, you guys, yay! Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you for
thank you.
having me.
And then we'll keep in touch. Go follow. And then for myself, you guys don't forget to follow my Moonbee page. I'm on Instagram, moonbee.readings. I'm on TikTok, moonbee.readings. And then also don't forget to follow and share my YouTube page. That's the T. I'll be posting all my information. And then hopefully you guys will want to come back and I didn't bore you today. All right, we're going to be signing off here. Thank you so much.
No, thank you very much.
Good night, everybody. Bye.